Supreme Rice. Since the 1930s, supporting Louisiana farmers and communities throughout Louisiana. To find out more, go to supremerice.com. Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Walk-Ons in Bruley, welcome to the Monday edition of Live at Lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott. Jordan Kinchin's back in the studio. Glad that you're with us today. And obviously very hot and caught a little rain on our way across here, but that has slacked up. So hope everybody had a good weekend. Last weekend without football of some kind for a long, long time. So we're happy about that. Jimmy, good morning.
Good morning.
The Hall of Fame inductions on Saturday. It was a star-studded class with Drew Brees and Larry Fitzgerald up at the top, and Luke Kuechly, Roger Craig, and Adam Vinatieri going in to the hall as well. Brees' speech was, in my opinion, a masterpiece. I thought that it had a little bit of everything. First of all, as you would expect with him, impeccably prepared. He managed to go through pretty much every portion of his development as a quarterback, from his youth with his family and all the way through his time at Purdue and in with the Chargers and, of course, with the Saints. Mentioned many mentors that he had, members of his family. And, Jimmy, we were talking pre-show. He said he started writing this thing, obviously, months ago, and kind of indicative of Drew Brees, impeccably prepared for, something like this. And he was just as smooth as you could be. There were times where he spoke from the heart. He said, I'm not going to get through this without crying, but he was able to hold his emotions in check even when he was talking about his late mother, and that's not an easy thing to do. And I thought it was great. I really enjoyed Luke Kuechly's speech and Larry Fitzgerald's speech. I thought was terrific. And of course, then the kind of the heartbreaking admission that Roger Craig had during his taped presentation that he's suffering from dementia. But I thought that was terrific. Vinatieri's speech was a little edgy for a Hall of Fame induction, but he spoke from the heart as well. So I couldn't have been more impressed with. There were times when we talked about his family. Like I said, it was a little edgy for a Hall of Fame speech with the Belichick jokes and stuff like that.
You reinforce the stereotype label of the kicker.
Yeah,
it was a little, just a tad off center.
You talk about the stereotypes for the kickers. What the diva position of all time is wide receiver, right?
Sure.
Any sport, it's wide receiver. Outside of maybe Jerry Rice, has there ever been less of a diva wide receiver than Larry Fitzgerald? I mean, I don't think of Larry Fitzgerald as
less.
a diva. Less.
No doubt. But Charlie,
he breaks the mold, the diva stereotype of wide receivers. He's the opposite of that.
I got to exclude Vinatieri. It was just kind of goofy, and it's a kicker, and it's different. But I mean, he definitely belongs in the Hall of Fame. How many clutch kicks has he made? That helped win either won Super Bowls or helped them win, Super Bowls. So no, that's what I would say. But just the group, it's a high character group, man. I mean, we're talking about Roger Craig. We're talking about a guy that, I love the part. Man, that happened. I got 1,000 yards receiving, 1,000. We were about winning. Something about the delay. They appreciate it a little bit more when they finally, get the call.
Yeah.
It's a cool video of his former 49er teammates showing up at his house and with their jackets on. And but just Fitzgerald, Brees, Craig, Kuechly, I can't believe I did with Dello on Thursday. I didn't make it easy. I was like, "But you love Kuechly?" I said, "Well, watch him play."
Yeah.
I remember us going to SEC Media Days when the crew would come from ACC Media Days, the Floridas and Carolina, the Georgia media that would overlap. And, man, Kuechly's our first team, man, unanimous All-American, you just didn't know if it would translate, but such a smart player. And, I mean, these guys are as classy as you can get, man. It's just a high-character group. And, guys that, coming out now didn't – 49ers took Craig in the second round, right? But how about that? He had 102 yards receiving in college. He had almost 5,000. In the NFL.
He did play for Nebraska.
That's very, of course.
Back then, they threw the ball about once a month.
I was surprised he had 102,
yeah.
to be honest. I didn't know if he would have any. But, how do you evaluate that? I guess you could work him out. But, man, such a great receiver. Such a great receiver. And was he kind of the first multi-purpose because it's a big part of what we know now, and it has been for some time. But he's one of the top guys, Charlie. But he also ran between the tackles with that, and of course the style as well. But I'm blown away as far as the speech with Breeze goes. I mean, it is so typical of his preparation and then his execution. It was unbelievable. It was so good, man. It was so good. Now there is a teleprompter on the podium to help guide them. But he looked like he was looking straight ahead and engaged with the audience most of the time. He may have had a little bit, but is that even what we know of him, I was blown away with his speech. It was really, how could you not be in tears? And, of course, even the connection and the stories. And we've heard some of them, but just to hear him talk about, no, we didn't get brownies and cookies. We got, etouffee, red beans and rice, and, and jambalaya. So it was neat, man. And, part of the one that kind of sticks with you, and maybe with some of the current players too. Man, you love New Orleans, he'll love you right back. So.
Yeah, and that was and the quote I think that's going to stick, and Rod Walker had kind of put this in his column about it, is, "You entrusted me with the soul of the city, and I would have died for that."
Oh, that was powerful.
Rod Walker had a great, the columnist for The Advocate had a great idea. He says, when they put the statue up outside the dome, that's what should be on the plaque at the bottom of it. And I thought that was a great idea.
I agree.
Breeze has probably read that speech 200 times.
He was prepared.
Since he wrote it, he was absolutely prepared.
He went bam, bam, bam. Went a little over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, they're going over their allotted times, and I didn't even mind it. I
didn't mind, but I thought it was. I thought they were pretty strict.
They recommend 12, and at 20, they're kind of like, okay, move it along. I thought that he was even at 27 minutes.
And the one thing you could tell from early, was there are a lot of Saints fans, huh?
A ton of Saints fans.
So I thought the tickets were pretty hard to get, but didn't you have sort of on the sideline, that upper? Did they have plenty of seating?
Yes, yeah, toward
the back of it. Is that general admission? You got to buy them? I mean,
I've been to the Hall of Fame, but I've never been for the induction ceremony, so I don't know. It seemed like, first of all, the weather wasn't blazing hot like it sometimes is. It was cloud cover, so it was. I talked to at least one person that was there. It wasn't the most uncomfortable as it could have been with the heat. So that was good. But I don't know as far as tickets to that thing. But there was, the guy that dresses up as the Pope was there, and the Whistle Monster, and some of those signage that you saw with the Saints. They
Whistle Monster's name is Leroy, and I've been knowing him for a long time. And I mean, okay, it's right over, and they show shots of Brittany and Leroy.
Yeah.
Okay. But the Saints fans, their presence, they made it known, and you could tell. He started with a hootat, he ended with a hootat.
Yeah. He was terrific. You mentioned Craig. I got into this a little bit on Sunday because a friend of mine asked me, he says, "Why did it take Craig so long to get into the Hall of Fame?" And so, Hall of Fame voting is tricky. Okay, sometimes guys have to wait longer because there's just somebody better in front of them. So I looked up Craig's numbers. the biggest number that he has is the yards from scrimmage, which is 13,100 yards from scrimmage. You don't take all-purpose yards because that includes the return game. So from scrimmage, 13,100. Now that has fallen all the way to 39th, okay, to 49th all time because of the increase in the passing game since Craig retired, okay? He's behind guys like Corey Dillon and Fred Taylor and Matt Forte and Ricky Waters, who are all excellent players, but none of them are in the Hall of Fame. When Craig started his career, the only guy that was better than him at the first couple of years of his career was Walter Payton, who was, towards the end of his. Sweetness caught plenty balls.
That's right.
But,
yeah, he sure did.
But after Payton retired, Craig was – this is before Marshall Faulk got in the league. He was clearly the best rushing, receiving threat of any of them. But the counting stats, the answer I gave to my friend was the counting stats probably kept him out. He's 47th on the career rushing yards list. He's 105th in touchdowns, and he's 76th in total yards if you count the all-purpose stuff. But where he was for his era, you have to do it from eras, because if you don't do it from eras, you're going to get lost. I mean, John Kitna threw for more yards than Johnny Unitas. They're not going to be.
The rules change.
Yes, of course. So you have to take it from when he was there. And when he was there, he was, like I said, he wasn't the first because Peyton did a lot of that stuff too. But he was the best after Peyton left the game as a dual threat. And, of course, he was on 3 championship teams, which really helps you. He's a high-character guy. I would have had no problem voting for Roger Craig. But if you're asking why it took so long, it's probably the counting stats.
You just mentioned, it's the Hall of Fame. Your resume is a combination of numbers, statistics, and significant wins / championships.
Yeah.
And had he played for the Eagles, he's not getting in.
Without the 3 rings, if he has the exact same numbers,
he's not getting in. He's not getting in. It took him this long with the 3 championships. Yeah. He's not getting in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's but, and how do you balance that? And that's why they have those long discussions in that room. And everybody that I've heard talk about, being a part of that room, they take it very seriously. But they also, come on, here's so-and-so, make their case for the player. And then they got to pick it apart a little bit. So it's look, Bill Walsh also was very creative in using the backs as receivers, and just also the balance, whether it was underneath, downfield throwing. He used Montana's legs, not so much on design running plays, but to roll and to create different passing lanes, that kind of way. So he was such an innovative, for that time, extremely ahead of his time, offensive minded. Well, this is a product of it, And Craig, if he's with another system, it's not. He had 102 yards receiving in college. How much is going to? They may have been slow to use him in that capacity. Not Bill Walsh.
No, and the tight ends were such a big important part.
They used everybody through the coop of the fullback. How many times they throw it to the fullback?
Yeah, I can still hear Pat Summerall. So many weapons, for the 49ers because they used them all. So I thought it was a very cool. This is as star-studded a class you'll get. Breeze is the second all-time leading passer in the league. Fitzgerald is the second all-time leading receiver in the league. Vinatieri is the all-time leading scorer in the league. That's about as good as it gets. And I think Kuechly is one of just a handful of guys who made a Pro Bowl in each of his first 8 seasons. I think it was 8 seasons.
He's 8 for 8.
8 for 8.
He only played 8.
Yeah, and almost.
I think he was first or second team All-Pro every year, or 7 of the 8.
Yeah. So this is about as star-studded a class as you can ask for.
But Kuechly, he cut it. That's a very short career, and sometimes he doesn't have a whole lot of significant wins. They made it to the Super Bowl one year, but I wasn't. I like spectacular players. Give me a Sandy Koufax over a Gaylord Perry. Okay,
yeah.
A guy is super for a shorter period of time, as opposed to the word that I hate the most, compilers.
You're not voting for Frank Gore.
I like him though. I got to tell you, I love the way he played. Maybe not. That's a conversation for a different day. But Kuechly was so good, man, so smart. And how about him covering the, in coverage and in tackles? I mean, just what you ask of so many modern day linebackers. He's there. So, 7 of the 8, Charlie. 5-team first-team All-Pros, 2-time second-team All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowler. So
his
played,
you know who his
8?
You know who his numbers are almost identical to? Patrick Willis, who is in the Hall of Fame.
Well,
also played 8 years. Also was a 5-time first-team All-Pro. Also was a 7-time Pro Bowler. Led the league in tackles twice. Was on the
How many
All-Decade.
years did he play?
8.
Really?
Yeah.
Willis quit early too.
Very almost identical stat lines for the two.
Defensive Rookie of the Year for Kuechly. Second year, he's defensive MVP. Out of Carolina, that's not easy to do.
No,
it's not a New York. That's not.
What year was he?
Chicago.
What year was he Defensive Rookie of the Year? You looking at it?
Well, he was drafted in the 2012, so 2012.
Okay. Willis was the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2007. Their numbers very, very close.
Was he ever Defensive Player of the Year?
He was. No, he was never Defensive Player of the Year. He was on the All-Decade team.
Was one of Ole Miss's weaker teams he was on.
Was on one of his Bebe's teams, right?
Huh?
It was Ogeron's teams, right? Pretty sure.
With Justin Vincent, I just know I think it was Les Miles that kind of pulled the plug down on the goal line. You remember that?
If he was a rookie in 2007, he would have played 3 years at Ole Miss. It would have been 4, 5, and 6, right?
I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah,
so yes.
I
guess. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, that was Ed's teams.
I don't think he was an Ogeron recruit. I think he was a holdover.
I think that's true,
yeah.
but he played for Ed. Yeah.
So, but what the point I'm trying to make is that you remember how hard he hit Vincent? I mean, LSU beat him like 50-6.
Yeah.
But he smoked. I mean, he would.
I remember doing the post game going, man, look, LSU won and LSU down here. Patrick Willis was one of the, if not the best player on the field some of those times. Yeah, he was great.
So the greatest Saint ever. It's going to be hard to pass up Breeze. It's going to be very hard.
Yeah.
It's going to be very hard.
Ricky Jackson said, well, he took my place.
That's Ricky's cool, man. Ricky's the best defensive player ever.
Yeah.
For the Saints.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no problem with that.
Yeah.
No second fiddle, Charlie.
It was really cool. Willie Rowe, Morton Anderson, and Ricky Jackson
Breeze
all
didn't
went up
own a club like Club 57 in Kenner, like Ricky.
No, probably not. We're at Walk-Ons in Bruley.
Man, just talking to Ryder over here, and they're getting ready for football season because they've got the NFL Sunday ticket over here. Every single game on for the NFL, you can come over here to Walk-Ons in Bruley and watch it. So that is that's a fun time to be over here. So just around the corner, of course, we got the NFL Network and all the other TVs. Catch some of the preseason action, which will be, I think, Thursday. They start this week, so they'll get a few more, a flutter of games, so that's always fun. And then during college football season, of course, this is the next closest thing to being at the game itself. And how about in the fall, too, speaking of football season around here at Walk-Ons in Bruley, I love the garage-style doors that when it's open air, lift up the windows. You also got outdoor TVs with, 5 of them right there for the picnic area. So to enjoy that with some outdoor fans as well. So I know it's hot right now. I know we're just preseason right now, but just around the corner, a little bit of fall, and what a better way to enjoy a Saturday or Sunday over here at Walk-Ons in Bruley.
Live at Walk-Ons in Bruley, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Bruley on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. Brought to you by Supreme Rice, celebrating 90 years in business here in 2026. Go to Supreme, supporting our Louisiana farmers, go to SupremeRice.com. Cam Jordan was at the Hall of Fame ceremony, along with Alvin Kamara and Zach Wood, the deep snapper. These are former teammates of Breeze.
And all the Saints Hall of Famers were there? Morton Anderson, Ricky, do you know? Willie Rope?
Willie Rope was there. Morton Anderson was there. Ricky Jackson was there. Sam Mills is the other Saint, of course, passed away. Okay. and they sent the 3 from the current team. Of course, Mickey Loomis was there. Sean Payton was there. Gail Benson was there.
Mayo did a little post game. They're not happy with the bust. They say Goodell sabotaged the bust.
All right, so let me. I've got two thoughts on that.
Looked like him.
Number one, it doesn't look like him at all. And number two, I have seen in a lot of these statues and a lot of these busts, they don't look anything like. A lot of the times, the person that they're
look good.
representing. Kuechly's looked a lot better. Some are better than others, but a lot of them
course.
don't. The busts and the bobbleheads. Okay, a lot of time the bobbleheads they don't look anything like the guys that they're supposed to be
Charlie,
the bobbleheads of.
This is.
I'm just talking about the art of it.
We invested a little bit more than a bobblehead.
But they got to put the art together. No, it didn't look like
Jane Daniels bobblehead I have doesn't look like him.
Didn't look like him at all. But what are you going to do? And I think
it had his birthmark.
When they did have the birthmark,
he got a kick out of.
Yeah, he rubbed it. When they take the cover off of it, I think that's the first time that they actually see it.
You sure?
No, I'm not, but I think it is the finished product. I could be wrong on that, but most of them look at it real good when they take the cover off of it. Like, oh, okay, I'm seeing this for the first time. I could be wrong on that. But Cam Jordan was there along with Alvin Kamara and Zach Wood, the deep snapper, who were all teammates of Drew Brees. Also, Cam Jordan is now dealing with a hamstring injury.
You're right.
It is his
it's
first
the first time they see it
yeah.
during the enshrinement ceremony.
Yeah.
Yes. So he did very well. I'm not saying, come on, man.
Right.
That's y'all can do. You got my birthmark right, but everything else,
the rest of it doesn't
looks
look
like a
like me.
librarian from, on Camino del Mar, in Del Mar.
That's correct. The Saints were practicing, though, this weekend. A couple of what I think are significant moves. The first one was that they moved Cesar Ruiz to center on, I think it was either Friday's practice or Saturday's practice was the first one. Kellen Moore went to great lengths to explain this, as saying, listen, we don't have our backup center from a year ago. Ruiz, was a center in college. We want to improve our depth at that position, and we're going to move him back to guard in about a week. But I couldn't help but think that it was an opportunity for somebody else to step up at that right guard position and see what they could do. I thought it was a wonderful idea because, as I told you, Ruiz, I thought, had a poor year last year, and they need to upgrade at that position. They need to upgrade at both guards. They spent the money on Edwards at the left guard. Obviously, you can't go get another guard of that cost, so you got to do the best you can. So this move of Ruiz to center, I thought, well, this is a great idea because this opens up the position for a couple of guys to maybe see what they can do. One of them is the veteran, Dylan Radunes, and the other one is the draft pick out of Auburn, Jeremiah Wright. Well, that plan went up in smoke yesterday because Radunes tore his ACL in practice, and he's done for the year. And Jeremiah Wright has been on the shelf for the last few days with a shoulder injury. So now you're kind of back to, that's not going to work. I loved the idea. And maybe Jeremiah Wright can get, it doesn't seem like it's a serious shoulder injury. Maybe he can get back at some point and make up some ground later in the camp, and maybe later in the season he could see some playing time. But right now, expecting a rookie to come in and miss, this is the install part of camp. This is the last day of install, I think, is today. It would be a lot to ask of him to go in there. So I see what they're thinking, okay? They don't tell you a whole lot, and that's by design, and that's fine. But when Mickey Loomis, who doesn't really talk about players' performance very much, says we need more out of him, and when Kellen Moore, the coach, moves him to another position a week into camp just to see, it gives you an idea that, well, they want more production out of that position. It's by far the weakest link on that offensive line.
McCoy was pretty durable until the last 2 years where he only played 7 games.
Who's that?
McCoy.
McCoy, yeah. And there's a drop off. They had a veteran there last year that they were able to plug in, but the play drops off. and you just got to hope that McCoy can stay healthy. But if their first 5 go out there, Ruiz is still one of their first 5, and he just got to be better than he was a year ago. There were too many misses. There were too many times where he got pushed back. And if the Saints are going to be as good on offense, they need him to play better. They're looking for other answers, and I wouldn't be at all surprised, especially now that Raduns has gone down, if they're shopping for a veteran guard. Not somebody high-priced, but maybe somebody who's expendable on another team. And here you can go veteran. This is probably a one-year fix or a one-year upgrade, because next year when you get to the draft, you're going to be looking for something at this position, I would think, at least on day 2. In the meantime, so if there's a 30-something guard out there that's a stable veteran, nothing spectacular but nothing too expensive either, wouldn't be surprised if the Saints get a little bit more serious in that market now.
Keep in mind that Ruiz, guard. Though, what you see is probably what you get. This is his 7th year.
Yeah, he's not.
We're expecting more out of him, but after 6 seasons, you kind of have a pretty good idea.
3 seasons. I thought 3 seasons ago was his best year. The 23 season.
Was he surrounded by better guys, or with the offensive line? Was
McCoy? It was McCoy at center. I'm trying to remember who was the right tackle that year.
McCoy helps.
It does. It does.
COVID. It was COVID pick. Round 1, Ruiz.
McCoy?
Ruiz.
Oh, yeah, he was. Yeah, we were doing the show, remember? That was not.
Yes, that was when I was very technically proficient on the Zoom. I think y'all got shots of the carpet instead of me. It was.
I know that you. I know that you eventually went to the studio and gave up.
Yes. But 24th overall pick, kind of what you got. What you see is what you get.
Kind of stuck there. Wouldn't be surprised the Saints are in the market for a little help there.
Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds at Legacy Title for all of your real estate closings. 296-0060. Full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Our great team at Legacy Title. Ashley Donald, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Mariana Haynes, and Natalie and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody chooses but you. Chad Reynolds at Legacy Title, 296-0060.
Live at Walk-Ons in Brewley, live at lunch, 104.5, ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Brewley on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we're also brought to you in part by the Thibodeau store, the Pierre Part store, also open in LaRose and Lockport. For your building projects, all of your building materials can be delivered, including lumber, out of the Pierre Part and the LaRose LaRose location, Outdoor cooking equipment, some of it portable outdoor cooking equipment. You're getting ready for tailgating season, head on by the Thibodeau store. Patio furniture, poolside furniture, cordless power tools, outdoor power equipment, and so much more at the Thibodeau store. You can get to all 4 of the locations at the one website, thethibodeaustore.com. Exclusive finds for your patio, paints, and if you're going fishing down on the coast, fishing equipment available. Thibodeau Store, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodeau. LSU coming off the practice field. Lane Kiffin scheduled to address the media here in about 5 minutes, so we'll have a recap of that in hour number 2 as the Tigers move into the second week of fall camp. Had a chance to get out there on Monday. After we hear what Kiffin's got to say, we'll talk a little bit about that. In the meantime, I want to go over some NFL notes from the weekend. Big blow for Washington as
Tunsil.
Laramie Tunsil, tricep injury, surgery, out for the season.
Well,
probably out for the season.
Yeah, probably out for the season, but at least most of the season. Yeah.
Man, for
who'd they sign? They picked up somebody immediately, huh?
I think so. Yeah, but not
of that stat. Oh, no.
It was Brandon Coleman was the guy that went in his place. I forgot who they signed to bring in, but man, keeping Jaden Daniels upright, keeping him healthy. And, one of the things that the Washington beat writers have been talking about is that Daniels is a little bit thicker, that he put on some good weight in the offseason, which is a good sign. But that offensive line has got to hold up, and losing your starting left tackle, man, roughly a week into camp.
It's brutal, man.
That's just tough.
It's brutal. It's brutal. This is what happened with the Chargers last year.
When they lost Brandon Slater.
We think that
Rashawn Slater.
We think that Daniels is the real deal. It's not like a sophomore slump. It's not like he's one of these running quarterbacks as a rookie, and he's not. No, he's such a terrific thrower, man. He is a poster, but he is slenderly built. He's put on some weight. He understands he will get out of bounds or get down when he can sometimes, but sometimes he takes some hits. You're right, Charlie. Brandon Coleman was in-house, and Quinn, the coach, was asked about it, and he did not say they have any immediate plans to bring in somebody from the outside. But that's a blow, man. Golly. So I like the weapons. How about that? We're talking about the Commanders that day, and with Randy McKay, and that afternoon they go and pick up
Stephon Diggs.
Yeah. They need a little bit. A lot of pressure on them too. Their defense is so bad, and they're not expected to be that much improved. So it is a lot of. It's almost like a poor man's Joe Burrow situation. He got no room for error.
For different reasons, but and I don't know what to expect of the Commanders' running game.
It's got to be better.
Krosky Merritt was a fun training camp story a year ago, and there were some plays here and there, but he's not an elite back. They brought in Rashad White, who's another kind of solid but not spectacular. You can't expect them to be a dominant run team. They've got what I would call average backs, and now
where did the kid from Alabama go to?
San Francisco.
San Francisco, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Rashad White is a solid back, but nothing spectacular. Max, Rashad White. I mean, I thought he was. Sorry, you turned him up. Got fantasy guys like him, but he's just kind of an average.
Yeah, fine player, I would say. They did bring in Kaytron Allen in the draft as well, but we'll see if Bob Crosby American.
The kid from Penn State. The kid,
yes.
he was like a fifth-year guy, I think, at Penn State. So you don't have a whole lot of hope that's going to be a dominant run game.
He's third string. That was at a 1-2 punch that lost to Notre Dame in the playoffs a couple of years ago. Who was the other back's name for Penn State?
Oh, the other one he rushed for.
It's good. He was drafted higher.
Singleton?
That's
it.
That's it.
Yeah. Singleton and Allen. So, but that's not that's not one of these stronger running back groups.
I will say Rashad White was ranked 12th out of running backs according to PFF last year.
12th what?
12th of running backs last year.
Of
55 graded running backs.
And what? He rushed for 572 yards, huh?
Just overall grade. PFF, they don't look at necessarily just counting stats.
Another major injury that is going to keep him out for the rest of the preseason is Luther Burden in Chicago camp. They think enough of him, and we watched him at Missouri. We thought he was an outstanding player there. They thought enough of him that they moved DJ Moore to Buffalo in the offseason. So you would think that
we got that one right, Charlie. We got that one right, that it was a little bit of a steal.
Yeah, they got him they got him in second round.
And not just because he was a big time. Was one of who has Missouri signed over the last 10 years has been a bigger recruit? He's up there if he's not. He's right there. So, and sometimes, we got to throw away that. But, yeah, he can play, man. He can play. I still wonder why he went so low.
If I had to guess, I'd say it's his size, but I loved him. I thought he was a dynamic player.
I think there were some interview things there.
Yeah.
I remember his pre-draft process. He kind of slid a little bit, but he really surged in the last 6 games last year.
His numbers decreased from his second to last year at Missouri to his last year because he was the offense the last year they were there. There was so much attention on him. So his counting numbers went down a little bit. Last year,
they did a very good job of creating a lot of different ways to get him the ball. Running plays as well, screens. I mean, look, just get the ball in open space. So that was how highly they thought of him.
Last year, Moore was the leading receiver among the wide receivers, but the overall leading receiver for the Bears was the tight end, Colston Loveland, who they think will have another big year this year. So Rome Oduzne and Luther Burden had very similar numbers, same amount of catches, same amount of yards, but Odunze had 30 more targets. In other words, Burden caught him for production as far as catches and yards, being targeted 30 less times. That's why they thought he could have been the number one receiver this year, and he still might be, but he's going to miss the rest of the preseason.
Keep in mind when DJ Moore got that, it was part of that Hard Knocks deal that year, and got it during training camp in July 2024, that 4-year, $110 million. That was done with the previous staff.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's the same GM, but, that was not a little bit easier to let him go when it's not you didn't invest on him yourself.
We spent some time on Friday talking about Haynes King because of his performance in the Hall of Fame game. He pulled a hamstring somewhere along the way. He's going to miss probably a month. They brought in Kyle Trask, the old Florida quarterback, to be the third teamer in Carolina. You remember when Trask came in, played against LSU? He
did pretty good.
He did.
The interception in the end zone when the game was tied or down 7.
I don't remember.
That was a key
score.
one. I think Stingley.
Stingley. It was the big part of that ball game.
In the end zone interception.
Yes.
That was a team that probably competed with LSU that 2019 season the best.
I've said this a bunch. The difference in that game was Jamar Chase. And I brought it up in the postgame that time because Jamar Chase at one point was committed to Florida. And I've said this a million times. If Chase is on the other side that night, I don't know if LSU wins. As good as that team was, but Chase was Burrow was really good. And he had other guys. He had other guys to throw to.
My money's on. He's going to find a way to.
He probably would have, but it would have been a hell of a.
Played well.
He did, and Chase had a monster game, and LSU won it. One of the most competitive games of the year.
75-yard touchtown to break the tie.
To put it away.
Or to put it away.
Yeah, they were up 35-28 and had the ball, and that put it away.
So that was probably the play right after Trask threw the interception, huh?
Pretty close, if I'm remembering right.
I bet that was because it was a great game. I was in a hospital with my dad at the time, and it was on. They gave LSU all they could handle here.
They did. It was the final score was bigger than what they beat Auburn by that year.
42-28. Yep.
Yeah, 42-28, and they only beat Auburn by I think it was 23-20 or 23-19.
Yeah, it was one score game.
Yeah,
because we had to recover the onside kick.
But I thought Florida was more of a threat than Auburn
had double the yards, or LSU had double the yards of Auburn.
Yeah, Florida was a problem, and they beat them.
Dave Canales said that King suffered the hamstring injury on that final play, diving for the end zone. So winning the Hall of Fame game, but you get injured in the process.
Again, I thought Haynes King showed me a lot as far as a passer because he had to throw from the pocket a lot more in just his first preseason game than maybe he did all the last 2 years in Georgia Tech.
I meant to ask this on Friday, but now it really – do you think he almost played too well? And the reason I'm saying that is –
they're going to have to put him on an active roster.
Yeah, could you risk putting him on the practice squad? Would somebody definitely pick him up?
Somebody's going to pick him up and just put him and sit him?
No, you have to put him on the roster.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but he's going to occupy a roster spot with a guy that's –
yeah.
I don't know. I can't say no. One game, no. I don't think everybody's jumping.
Not for sure, but
I don't think so. That's what I said.
Yeah,
Charlie.
I wouldn't be the biggest shocker if somebody did.
One game preseason, one half.
Kind of also depends on if somebody's in a quarterback bind. Like, okay, the Detroit Lions today find themselves without a backup quarterback that is dependable. Teddy Bridgewater retired again over the weekend. This time, I think, for good. So they didn't have much behind him, so they went out and signed the astronaut Joshua Dobbs, who's been playing in the league since, I think, Rozelle was the commissioner.
Ever seen a guy play so good just off the cuff and then just like flatten out? Who was it? Would they beat Atlanta maybe when he has his first game? And he just played.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they had to overcome. I'm pretty sure he had like a 4th and 10 and this. I mean, he had a game-winning drive at the end of the game, just a long drive.
And was there a primetime game after that? Did they play a primetime game?
They played a primetime game.
Yeah.
I remember that vividly.
Did it beat the 49ers?
He won. His first 2 games were against Atlanta and New Orleans. And then he ended up losing to
Did they beat the
Denver.
Saints? I know they came back and beat Atlanta by like a field goal or so.
They lost to the Bears on Monday Night Football in a low-scoring 12-10 game. He had 4 picks. That's when he started.
His honeymoon's over.
He's only been in the league for 7 years, but he's played for 6 teams, which is why it seems like Dobbs has been in the league forever. He's only 31 years old.
That's great, okay, but if Dobbs can stay in the league, what about the other Tennessee quarterback that was so good, Hooker? Why is he?
Well, he was with the Lions.
He's on the Titans now, I believe, right?
Is he
are we going to play? Are we going to play? Where does he play later?
Where's the backup quarterback?
I think Hendon Hooker is in Tennessee now.
He is. Yeah. Correct.
No, I liked him a lot, and then the injury, and he never. His rookie year, he missed so much time in that training camp, and it seemed like he never really got back and got himself in the mix.
He was really good at Tennessee.
His senior year at Tennessee, he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
He had that high yards per attempt with almost – I think he threw like 4 interceptions for the whole year, and he still – either led the league in yards per attempt or close to it. So he was pushing the ball down the field, but he wasn't throwing the interceptions. No, he was.
I liked him
great.
A lot. I thought
too.
He'd be a decent pro prospect. I think part of it, you might have to look at that
Product
Tennessee
of the
offense.
system.
Yeah.
No question. But I saw him throw enough balls, though, man, he was accurate, man. He really could throw the ball.
Anyway, Teddy Bridgewater says he is done with football. I wonder if he's going to go back to coaching high school football.
4-0 as a starter with the Saints?
Who's that?
Was he 4-0 as a starter with the Saints?
5-0. Breeze hurt his thumb, Rams. I think it was, against the Rams, and they reeled off 5 in a row. Completely shot my whole backup quarterback theory to hell. I was like, man, if you can go 2-2 in 4 games, you're a good backup quarterback. Teddy went 5-0 and was terrific.
I remember the defense stepping it up pretty good, too.
Yes, they did.
Yes, indeed. Don't forget our friends over at Total Maintenance. Man, I had the pleasure of having dinner with Lucas and his wife on Friday. They're getting ready for the daughter's wedding, Charlie. You know how that goes, so that's always fun. So Total Maintenance, hey, your AC doesn't care if it's the hottest day of the year. It just quits. That's why Total Maintenance offers same-day service to get your home cool and comfortable fast. Nobody goes to sleep hot when they call 480-0007. 480-0007. Ask about our elite membership plan. Service twice a year, 50% off diagnostics, 15% off repairs. All repairs come with 3-year warranty. Half of your monthly fee goes to credit, TM Bucks. That is there when you if you need to replace equipment and don't get hit with that big ticket all at once. And as a sign-in bonus. You sign up for the elite membership plan today, receive a $200 credit immediately with TM Bucks as part of their elite membership plan. Total Maintenance, 480-0007.
Live at the Walk-Ons in Bruley, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Bruley on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here at Walk-Ons in Bruley, live at lunch. Outside of that right guard position that the Saints are tinkering around with, probably the biggest question mark on the roster is depth at cornerback. The Saints are bringing in Terrion Arnold for a visit. This one, I'm just gonna give you the landscape here. There is a arraignment hearing this week for Arnold on felony charges of kidnapping and armed robbery. The maximum sentence is life in prison for these charges that he's facing. Lions cut him almost immediately. They had a first-round pick in him, and he was a starter. They cut him immediately after this. Arnold went I don't think he went in front of the judge, but his lawyer did, and they denied the state's request to keep him in custody until trial. So he's allowed to travel for work, and he's going to be visiting the Colts, the Jets, the Seahawks, the Texans, and now it looks like New Orleans. I'd pass. I'm sorry. These charges are too serious. If he goes through the whole trial and everything, and he's cleared, and he found not guilty or anything, that's one thing. But even with a need, no thanks. This is not like he's facing a speeding ticket or something like that. 4 counts of kidnapping and 4 counts of armed robbery. No
that's
thanks.
Serious?
I don't care how bad I need a cornerback. No thanks.
Jeez.
Now, again, if he gets cleared, that's different. But no thanks. I would pass. There's certain things you get to a spot and you're like, you know what? I don't need that guy in my building. And he was.
You got to be really good with that kind of baggage.
And what I remember about him with the Lions was he made plays, but he was also a highly penalized guy. Max said that I don't have the number in front of me, but I want to say his rookie year he was the most highly penalized corner in the league, or one of them. He got better as he got older, but no, I'm not sure I'd look at any player with that kind of charge going to him. He's only 23, so if he's cleared, he can go back into the league. But no thanks.
17 penalties in 24 career games.
In what? In 24 career games? Yeah, that's a lot.
How about when the Saints picked up the guy from Seattle, the defensive back, and we play a completely different scheme?
Brandon Browner?
Is it Browner? And he led the league in defensive holding penalties, and
he did because he could not.
They were asking him to do something that
he was a zone guy, and they were asking him to play man, and he couldn't do that.
And he probably had another 20 that could have been or should have been called. I mean, he was constantly tackling receivers.
It's a very close race as to who the worst free agent signing in the secondary was for New Orleans, Brandon Brown or Jason David, who they got from the Colts. And then they played the Colts in the first game the next year.
They threw his way every play.
Peyton Manning had a ball. I mean, he went out there and saw Jason David out there in coverage. Well, he got a smile on his face. Like
they attacked him pretty good.
Oh, my goodness. He was so – I felt sorry for him.
Did he have a scoop score in that game too?
Might have, yeah. I
know we had one. I think it was him.
I remember the Saints got absolutely destroyed in that game. We're here at the Walk-Ons in Bruley, live at lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Bruley on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Here at Walk-Ons in Bruley, live at lunch. You're getting ready for fantasy football drafts. I got a deal over here at Walk-Ons in Bruley with your fantasy football draft taking place here. $25 bonus card plus their fantasy football bundle that you can get. It includes 50 boneless wings, chips and queso, a couple of pitchers of Bud Light. And then if you'd like to continue from there, over 4 dozen beers on tap here. We always tell you about that when we come here to Walk-Ons in Bruley, that if you like draft beer, this is as good a place as you're going to find. All your your traditional favorites plus seasonal beers that rotate throughout the course of the year. Always find them here at Walk-Ons in Bruley. Not a bad seat in the house for any of the games that you want to watch. And we got this preseason action starting later on this week, Thursday, Lions and Bengals, Packers and Steelers. The Saints' first preseason game is Saturday. It's 3 o'clock against the Jaguars, who they're going to practice against starting in the middle of the week. So it's got your NFL stuff coming up and your fantasy football bundles here at Walk-Ons in Bruley. So.
Got the NFL Sunday ticket over here, so every game over here at Walk-Ons in Bruley, and so and fall is right around the corner, Charlie.
Looking forward to that. Lane Kiffin's still talking with the media, so I hadn't finished with that yet, but I had a chance to go out and watch a little bit on Saturday morning. There were 2 places that I was able to to watch and get a little bit. Again, this is the portion of camp where they're still in shorts, and we're not out there for all that long. So don't go too crazy with any of the things that you hear, because we're just seeing a little bit of this. But what I can tell you from what I saw, I spent my time watching the defensive tackles and the safeties. So what I can tell you about the defensive tackles is that don't be shocked if when they go out there for the first game, it's two freshmen with the first team. Deuce Geralds and Richard Anderson couldn't look any more different standing next to each other. Geralds is about 6'1", about 280 pounds, and Anderson's about 6'3" and about 340 pounds. But they're both very effective in their own ways. You're going to see at least a four-man rotation. Malik Blockton, the transfer from Auburn, Stephylon Green, the transfer from Clemson, who both are about the same size. They're both in that 6'3", 300-pound range. You're going to see a nice, healthy rotation of those guys. I don't know what the role is going to be for Dominic McKinley. It's been a pretty quiet first week for him. There are guys in front of him. Last year he played a lot, hoping for a breakout year. At least so far, he's running behind some guys, a defensive tackle. A lot of camp left, and McKinley certainly got some experience, but we'll see there. And at safety, Ty Benefield, the transfer from Boise State, is locked in at one. I am expecting a big year out of him. We came out of camp last year really impressed with Halsey, with A.J. Halsey last year. I find Benefield's a different looking type of player. He's much more tall and rangy, but really like what I've seen out of him so far. The other safety spot, at least they look like they're willing to look at some other guys. Jace Thomas was out there with the first unit on day one and saw a decent amount of Tamarcus Cooley on Saturday, but they also had Fahim Delane at least take a couple of reps. Again, this is individuals, this is not teamwork up there at the top. Delane is a nice-looking athlete. He's a much thicker player than some of the others. Jace Thomas is listed at 180 pounds. Delane is listed at 213 pounds. So they're different-looking players. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw that competition continue. Cooley, I thought, was adequate a year ago. I didn't think he was spectacular. I didn't think he was bad.
Safety?
I thought he was a good player.
But the transfer from Houston?
No.
Oh, Halsey.
Halsey's with Halsey was great.
Okay, we're on the same page.
Cooley was a kid from NC State.
The reason I bring that, Charlie, because you said last year, I said, man, how much can you tell in that much practice? And you're talking about Halsey, and it did translate. He was a heck of a player, man. I liked him a lot.
And I think you'll like Benefield this year. The other one, Cooley came from NC State. Like I said, I thought he was okay. I didn't feel like he was a liability out there. He made a handful of plays. But if they're looking at some other guys there, it means that if Cooley last year was good enough to start for you, this year, well, you got other guys that are challenging for the playing time. It's not because he's not an adequate safety, if that makes any sense. So got to see those two positions, and then we skedaddled out of there. Very hot Saturday morning, quite steamy. The offensive line, I didn't get a chance to see. They were on the other field. I didn't get a chance to see them, but the reports were that the front five that finished spring are still the front five that are here. Jordan Seaton, Bo Bordelon, Braylon Moore, Aliu Ba, and Weston Davis as your starting offensive line. And, the wide receivers, I still think that's going to be – first of all, I think a lot of them are going to play, and they're still rotating guys. Hunt Palmer wrote a piece about Jace Brown from Kansas State this morning. I certainly think he's up at the top of that list. So it'll be a lot of different looks before we get to the end of camp. Not even just getting ready to put the pads on later this week. So it's kind of where I'm at with.
Well, why don't you share what you told me before the show about the evaluation of Clemson's quarterback?
Yeah, somebody was on YouTube had put together a clip of Venzina, I think is how you say it, and it was his
fourth-year junior.
Fourth-year junior. He has started one game, and somebody went through and cut it up to where you could watch it in a nice about 15-minute sitting of all of the offensive plays that Clemson ran in Venzina's first start, his only start, which was against SMU last year. What I saw was I thought an average quarterback. I thought his best throws were a couple of deep throws that he made. He threw 3 touchdown passes in that game. 2 of them were deep balls. Jimmy, what's your biggest pet peeve about quarterbacks that don't throw very good deep balls?
They don't put enough air under it. Give your receiver a chance.
He put air under the ball. One of the plays that went for a touchdown of over 50 yards, he almost overthrew him, but he put enough air under it the receiver was able to make a nice catch. The other one he put right on the money, and then the third one was a shorter throw that the receiver ended up making a move. So in that game, 29 for 42, 317 yards and 3 touchdowns. Looks spectacular, right? SMU won the game by 11. Those 3 big plays accounted for a big chunk, over half of his yardage that day. What I saw the rest of the time was a lot of wide receiver screens, a lot of checkdowns, and the yards per attempt is going to look, pretty good here for this game. But again, you had the 3 big plays. Did not see him throw the ball in the middle of the field in the intermediate zones. Didn't see him move around a whole lot. He had 15 rushing attempts in the game. I saw them all. Most of them were the result of pressure that he just kind of had to eat the football. He is very little threat to run very much. He had a couple of design runs that didn't go anywhere. All in all, I would describe him as a very
program quarterback?
Yeah. Serviceable, okay. Certainly not a spectacular quarterback. I was trying to think of an LSU quarterback that I could compare him to the last 10 years, and there's really nobody that completely fits. No, he's better than Hatch.
What about your boy that got
Danny Etling? Danny Etling is probably the closest that I could come, and it's not even that's not great. Etling, I think, was a little bit better athlete, but he's a very serviceable quarterback. Now they've got a competition going. They're splitting reps 3 ways. I've read all of the Clemson practice reports. No, this guy's going to start.
Yeah.
Okay. The LSU game
that's
for sure.
That's not a competition. He's your starter.
But I think what I told you before the show, and we'll see if I'm right or not, I think it would be crazy to put a freshman in Tiger Stadium for this game and expect him to go out there and perform. So I think the senior Venzina will start there. But I also would not be surprised if the freshman beats him out at some point in the season. Clemson's early schedule after LSU, and they're a big underdog to LSU. There's a rent-a-win game, and then there's a game against North Carolina that I think that they will win. Then they go to Cal. That's a losable game if they don't play well. And then they play Miami. So if they're 3-2 or 2-3 the first week of October, maybe then. I'm saying this not having watched the freshman practice at all. I'm reading practice reports. All I know is what I saw out of Venzina is he's okay. He's nothing special. He's not terrible.
He was more than okay against SMU. He was really damn good. He would. I mean, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, over 300 yards passing. One thing that sticks out now, you sacked 4 times, but he rushed it 15 times.
A lot of those were times where he ate the football. I'm going to send this film to you so you can watch it. A lot of times he was eating the football and just kind of moving his way up the pocket.
4 sacks.
He did not, and a couple of times he just got back to the line of scrimmage or just a little bit past it. He is not a real threat to run the football very much, not against a defense that's fast.
That's a lot for a guy that's not a runner. But, but he was –
the yardage was largely on the 3 big plays.
They fell behind in that game. So
they were behind, I think, the entire game.
16-7 at half, and he picked it up a little bit.
I don't think they led in that game.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
Jimmy, we've seen LSU favored by as much as 11.5 in this game. It is now down to 9.5 at Bally's DraftKings Sportsbook. Anything to make of that?
Yeah, over that hot number at 10, it's kind of a magic number, and just it's for LSU and Clemson. I mean, branding wise, I think it's a lot of points. But LSU, I think, is better than what most people think around the country, and it's Vizina. Say what you want. It's his first start on the road in a hostile environment, and it's going to be hostile. And I think that's going to. And maybe just got to talk to my Clemson buddies. Their confidence is so low, man. They are tired of it. They wanted him to go get a transfer quarterback because they saw him. Even with the stats, they saw enough of him and said, no, we need better. And if you're going to put in a freshman mid-season, you can't ask for the moon with a freshman. I mean, is the guy starting for them more highly thought of than Underwood? I mean, you just don't know. Usually, you're going to have a tough time with your first-year starter, much less a true freshman, with a not the greatest supporting cast. Handwriting's on the wall, man. The best coach they've ever had. They're not happy. They're not happy right now.
And isn't that number coming down just the branding like you're talking about?
Well, some respected money came with it. So it's not just, the casual fan. You move a number like that. That's respected money. So,
And it's the first game. LSU's not supposed to be a finished product in game number one. You see this sometimes. You get a big play call back because of a penalty. You have some sloppiness in that first game. This is a whole new coaching staff on the offensive side of the ball. It would be asking a lot for them to be a finely tuned machine right there in game one.
I saw a finely tuned machine Kiffin's first game at Ole Miss.
That's true.
That's for damn sure.
That's true.
I mean, it was a COVID year. It was 20 or 21, Charlie? 20?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he does best. We know about that. And they got enough players on defense where he should have a much better defense. You have a little continuity with keeping Baker here. I think that Kiffin's, you're right. It's because of the ugly week of college football. But in that game against the first game, Matt Corral threw for 395.
Who did they play?
Florida. Florida was good. That was that's the year they went to the SEC championship game.
Yeah, it was. Wow, he threw for 395 against that
Florida team. It was. I mean,
I've tried to forget just about everything that happened in 2020.
Explosive plays after explosive plays. I mean, it was impressive, man. I mean, they had 613 yards of offense. Whoa. That's game one against a respected team. I don't know how you compare Florida's defensive unit that year to Clemson's this year, but I would say as good, if not better.
That was a Dan Mullen team, right? For Florida, Dan Mullen was a coach at that time? I think so.
I have to look, but 51-35 was the final score. They scored 5 touchdowns. They scored a touchdown in every quarter, 613 yards, 443 on the ground. I mean,
because Mullen was a solid coach. I mean,
that was very solid.
I know
coach.
they ran him off, but he was a solid guy.
Was he the coach when they got to the conference championship against
Alabama? I'm pretty sure
he
was. You can look it up, but I'm
pretty
sure that was Dan Mullen.
I think you're right.
I had forgotten that he threw for that many
yards. Florida, Florida,
it was third year.
Yeah, Kyle Trask.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. I hope you're right, Jimmy. I saw it. I hope that Sam Levitt throws for 395.
For that reason, how much time did the teams? How much was it reduced practice time entering that season for COVID?
It was definitely postponed until probably late August that year. And they didn't start the season until September the 20-something.
They would have been playing for something very real in that game, if not for the shoe game against LSU that year. That was a big loss for them. But that SEC championship game would have been huge for their playoff chances. Just that season was the shoe game where they throw the shoe and LSU beats them
in the fall.
Oh, the Florida game.
The game
Oh,
in the
yeah,
fall.
yeah.
But that SEC championship would have been very
Kyle Trask
impactful.
threw for 6 TDs that day. That was September 26th.
Yeah.
Was opening day.
Late
So they started late August to late September.
Yeah.
And were they reduced in the amount of practices or
They
time?
had the same amount of time, but they were reduced with all of the restrictions as to who could practice, if you remember that part.
I don't know what you mean, who could practice? I mean,
COVID guys in and out of practice. If you
I know if you test positive, I get that.
Yeah. I mean, how many days they had the full team out there? It was always a guessing game as to who you had available to practice.
One team had all their guys available.
They won a lot of games that year. Best Alabama team ever. I've been told that so many times.
They asked Saban about that. They put him on the spot. You know what he said?
What?
No comment.
Yeah.
I'd take the 5th.
I would.
It's kind of topical and
I would
COVID fixture.
I saw the 20 Alabama team and I saw the 19 Alabama team. Give me the 19 Alabama team all day and all night.
Yeah. No question.
Even though they lost.
Yes.
I mean, they lost to an LSU team that was, probably the best of all time.
So I mean, I don't know how much they were less prepared because of the altered schedule that year, but you have to say some.
Sure.
Okay,
sure.
so
what about everybody?
I mean, they were Moore had over 200 yards himself receiving. I mean, it was and they had no defense, obviously.
395 yards. Wow. Okay. Bar's been set, Lane. Repeat that.
Don't forget our friends at Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime. Mine, Charlie's, everybody. We have not hesitated over the years when somebody asks it, hey, you got an idea, you got a recommendation for an attorney? No problem. Call 343-1111. Dana Brown at the law office of O.C. Brown. Second-generation law firm. His dad, former district attorney, O.C. Brown, started, and Dana has just maintained the same level of expertise and professionalism that his dad established back years ago. Dedicated to protecting your rights and fighting for the justice you deserve. Again, never a charge for the initial consultation. 343-1111 and ocbrown.com.
Live at the Walk-Ons in Bruley, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Bruley on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And return here at the Bruley Walk-Ons. Again, your fantasy football packages, fantasy football bundles, including $25 bonus card, 50 boneless wings, chips and queso, 2 pitchers of Bud Light, and have a secluded place, a little cordoned-off place for your draft here at Walk-Ons in Bruley. Fantasy football drafts all throughout the month of August. Okay. Not a ton of news out of LSU's practice this morning, but they are done.
That's good.
Yeah, absolutely. No news is good news. Sam Levitt was 18 out of 20 against no defense, so they're basically
against no defense.
Against no defense. This is just individual drills where they're
keeping
throwing
a stat on running drills without defense
because this is what they're allowed to see. Yeah.
Okay.
And Trey'Dez Green was in a no-contact jersey, and
I thought the non-contact jersey was misleading for a quarterback. You can't get hit. You don't want him. Obviously, nobody wants to get hit.
This is just the first part of practice.
But
just throwing passes.
But I would have to be a little bit. I would pump the brakes a little bit on statistics against no defense.
Yeah.
Charlie.
Right, against air. TaMarcus Cooley was back with the first group in the secondary. We talked about safety here just a minute ago. And like I said, Green was in a no-contact jersey this morning. Lane Kiffin was asked about the buyouts on both T.J. Daugherty and Devin Harper. And he said, that sounds like illegal.
The buyouts?
Yeah.
They had a multi-year contract and
they signed contracts for rev share for what would have been their 26th season at Ole Miss, and Ole Miss is suing them for that money. And Kiffin didn't bite. He said it's a legal situation. Don't have a comment. And I would be very surprised if even when this is resolved, if LSU had a comment in regardless of how that turns out, it's less than $1 million. Whatever happens. I'm kind of bored by these stories.
But I mean, that's taking it to a whole nother level as far as reaching for some kind of information. I mean, stats against nobody. Okay.
Yeah.
So LSU is plus 160 to make it to the playoff. The Dodgers are plus 160 to win the World Series. You got a free $100 ticket. Who you putting it on?
The Dodgers.
Dodgers?
The Dodgers, yeah.
They've lost 8 of 9, and they will not budge those odds. That just doesn't happen with anybody else. You lose 8 of 9, the NBA, whatever. Your payoff's going to increase.
It's a short.
They know they're getting so much action.
Yeah, it's a short series, and anything can happen. I mean, Milwaukee and Atlanta actually have better records than the Dodgers right now. If the playoffs started today, they're the 3 seed, right? After this streak where they lost 8 out of 9. It's a short series, and we've seen big favorites not win before. But I mean, gosh, they're so loaded. It's hard to imagine somebody beating them 4 out of 7.
No, but that tricky 5-game series is the one that's knocked them out, and should have knocked them out against San Diego when they threw a bullpen game and beat them in an elimination game at Petco. But no, that's the 2 when they were bounced. They were bounced in 5 by San Diego and Arizona. So
the one you threw
who
out
would you
there,
take, Max? You said Dodgers too. Why?
The poll the question you asked last week was who's more likely to make the playoffs, LSU or the Saints. Hunt put that up on a poll on LouisianaSports.net. This is Baton Rouge, right? 70-30, I think, was the final in the favor of LSU. And look, I want LSU to make the playoffs. I hope that they do. I hope that both teams make the playoffs. But if you're just looking at it from a numbers standpoint,
what is the Saints' number to make the playoffs?
Plus 180.
What?
Plus 180.
Plus 180.
Plus 180.
Yeah.
160. Okay.
Just from a numbers standpoint, LSU cannot, I don't think, lose a quarter of their games and make the playoffs. I think if they lose 3 games, they're going to be out. I mean, they could sneak in, but probably not. The Saints could lose half of their games and get in. That's where I'm coming from with the prediction. It's just it's pure numbers.
So you like the plus 180?
Yeah. If given the choice between those two, in fact, if you gave me the choice of all 3, the Dodgers to win the World Series, the LSU to make the playoffs, or the Saints to make the playoffs, I still take the Saints. Even at 160, I take the Saints to make the playoffs, just because of the leeway that they have. The Panthers made the playoffs at 8-9 last year. The Saints only have to be 2 games better than they were last year for that. They're playing a last-place schedule. I think they can get to 8-9. Now, maybe 8-9 doesn't get them in this year. Maybe they need to get to 9-8. But I think that's real doable.
Last-place schedule.
I think LSU, can win 10 games.
But
I got 6 games on LSU's schedule that either they're an underdog or they're less than a 3 or 4 point
What's
favorite.
the chances of Saints making it as a wild card?
Now they're
strictly as a wild card.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this. I would say less than 20% of a chance. So you're saying instead of making the playoffs,
I'll take the plus 270 to win the division over.
Yeah. No, that's a better bet.
Over
that's
plus
a better
180
bet.
to make it to the playoffs.
That's a much better bet.
I appreciate you giving it your blessing, Charlie.
That's what you were waiting for. I mean, I don't want to disappoint you.
Brian Kelly's working in the media now. He has LSU in the playoff, 10-2.
I want to talk about that when we come back because that deserves a little bit more time.
Well, we know they got their whatever they're going with if they want to try and get a settlement. The attorney won't even come down from New York, his agent from New York, to even talk with it's the money pay. But he's not. His commentary does not. If he's bitter, it does not affect his commentary. I've heard him on enough interviews now when they ask about LSU, they ask about chances with Kiffin, and I didn't see this one where they went game by game, win or loss. But he's been pretty, he hadn't
bashed LSU.
I feel like he's always been pretty complimentary of Lane Kiffin.
What's that?
Throughout his time at LSU, he's always pretty complimentary of Lane Kiffin.
Kelly?
Yes. I don't remember.
And just his
he's
offensive
complimentary all the time.
mind.
He's good in coach speak, but I would say he was always complimentary of Kiffin and his offenses over the years. So
he's made some predictions. I want to hear that when we come back because he for LSU and for Notre Dame. do that when we come back.
Over here at Walk-Ons in Brewley, again, we got the NFL Sunday ticket over here, so come on by and see us. Like Charlie says, we change out the different drafts seasonally, but man, NFL Sunday ticket, all the college football games. When it cools down a little bit, the patio, they have 5 screens in the patio, do a little cornhole, whatever you want. So, man, just football is right around the corner, and hunker down over here at Walk-Ons in Brewley.
Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Brewley on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And we're also brought to you by Louisiana Health and Injury Centers, helping you deal with pain. Dr. Michael Goff and his staff. You know, when you got that back pain, that neck pain, that muscle soreness, those things that are keeping you from getting around as well as you'd like, or maybe not getting a good night's sleep, let them attack those problem areas and get you to feeling better. They've done fantastic work for us, and they can do the same for you. Whether it's dry needle, electric nerve stimulation, cryo, or ultrasound therapy, system of exercises and stretches and adjustments that'll get you to feeling better and alleviate your pain. Airline Highway, Plank Road, Jefferson Highway, near Drusilla. Dr. Michael Goff, Louisiana Health and Injury Centers. Didn't know we were getting this today. Maybe I just missed it, or maybe this was a surprise. LSU was scheduled to have Lane Kiffin at the podium today, and then they say players. Well, while we were at break, the first player that went up there, Sam Levitt. This is the first time we've heard from him since he's been at LSU, and he is speaking right now. So I know Hunt will have some more on that during his show, but Sam Levitt's up talking to the media for the first time as an LSU Tiger. Now, go to former LSU Tiger, the coach, Brian Kelly. Max, he was going game for game with both LSU and Notre Dame. So let's do LSU first, and what he thinks the record is going to be for the Tigers.
Yeah, so he works for CBS Sports. They're doing these online videos with Brian Kelly going game by game. It's kind of funny. You hear the coach speak. He talks about the La Tech game and the road trip to Kentucky and Auburn and Mississippi State. This is not going to be an easy game. You know, there's no easy game in the SEC. You can hear him still kind of he has that coach in him. He's not going to disrespect any of the opponents. But nevertheless, he did have LSU losing to Ole Miss. Going to Ole Miss, thinks it's about the best quarterback in that game, and he trusts Trinidad Chambliss at home in that one. So he went with Ole Miss, although he did say the next week he had them beating Texas A&M and said they could go 1-1 in either of these. Either way, I could see it going. You know, they'd be happy to go 1-1 between those two games back to back.
It's somebody's birthday here at Walk-Ons.
Ethan's.
Is it today?
Wednesday.
Okay. Well,
a little early birthday.
He's not here, but
can't wait to get out the house to go celebrate.
Brian Kelly also had them winning out in October. Not a real surprise there. Did say Auburn was a tough place to play, nevertheless. And then had them beating Alabama, losing to Texas, and then beating Tennessee and Arkansas. So Brian Kelly predicts LSU go 10-2 and make the playoff. He was complimentary of Lane Kiffin in this piece. He also, interestingly enough, I was trying to do some research on this during the break. He mentioned that he had LSU beating Tennessee because Blake Baker has always done well against Josh Heupel offenses. I didn't really know that was a thing, so I looked it up, and he might be basing that off of one game. Back when Blake Baker was at Missouri, he played Tennessee in 2023, and they won 36-7. But the previous year when Blake Baker was also the DC, they went to Rocky Top and lost 66-24. So I'm not exactly sure that is actually true. I didn't see any other previous history at Miami and La Tech where he played Heupel, but nevertheless, maybe one good performance against the Heupel offense.
So he's predicting losses to Ole Miss and Texas. LSU's an underdog in both of those games right now, right, Jimmy? At Ole Miss and home against Texas, they're underdog in both of those games, right? LSU.
Man, like maybe under a field goal though. I don't think it's.
Okay.
I'll have to check.
And if they played them right now,
yeah, understand. But there should be odds on. Lines on those games. I'll check.
Will they be an underdog? And I know it would be very small, but would they be an underdog at home against Texas A&M?
I don't think so.
You think they'd be a small favorite?
Yes.
1 or 2 points?
As of now, yeah.
Okay.
I would think so.
They are. So I've got it for you here. 1.5 point underdog at Ole Miss.
That's it, really? Okay.
Yeah, under a field goal.
All right.
3 point favorite hosting Texas A&M.
Okay.
And then come Alabama, they are favored by 3.5 at home, LSU, but they are 3-point underdogs to Texas.
Okay. So,
And
field goal or less.
1.5 point favorite at Tennessee the next week.
I mean, the schedule's so good. The schedule is good. You know, were they predicted to finish in the SEC 6th with the SEC media?
Thought they had them 5th.
Fifth.
Yeah.
Well, they're third choice in the odds. You know, co-favorites are Texas and Georgia, and they're third choice.
Really?
Yeah.
We'll see. There is a slight difference in that this is predicted order of finish that the SEC votes on. While, you know, maybe you have a slightly better chance of winning. Sure.
So if I got this right, he didn't pick them to win any game in which they were an underdog, and he didn't pick them to lose any game they were a favorite.
He's a better, I guess, now. You know, he's just going
mean,
with Vegas.
There are worse ways to make your predictions.
Sure.
I mean, that's when they used to force me to write a column every year about how many games I thought LSU would win. I almost always picked them to win as many games as they'd be favored in. That goes back to the 2003 season when it was the first time I could ever remember they were favored in every game before the season, in my lifetime. Anyway.
So how many of the schedule is going to be 6.5 or less? We just named, 4 or 5 of them?
I just named 5.
5.
So, at Auburn, I don't think
they have at Auburn.
That.
I don't know if they're going to be more than a touchdown favorite at Auburn. I wouldn't think so.
We know it's not Clemson.
Is that line out yet, Auburn?
There's not one on Auburn.
Okay.
No.
But, and again, things have changed. But I would say, let's see.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
If I would put out a line on LSU Auburn right now.
Yeah.
And we already know what the Clemson line is. They'll be a significant favorite at Kentucky and at home against Mississippi State and at Arkansas. Yeah, that's about right. You know, I think that the A&M game is going to be a really hard game for them to win.
Agreed.
That would be the one I would maybe push back a little bit on. The rest of them, yeah. And I think that they've got a good chance to beat Texas here. I think that the game that scares me more is Tennessee because you're playing Alabama at home, Texas at home. Both of those are going to be such emotionally charged games. The last time Alabama is going to be here for a few years. It's the first time Texas has been here since the 50s. And after those two ringers, you're going to Knoxville. I just think that's going to be a tough spot.
You don't think that's a tough spot, though, coming back a week after you play Alabama against Texas?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
But I also think that they're going to be up for that game. I mean, Tiger Stadium, Texas coming in here. I think you're going to get LSU's best.
So many of these games, it's interesting. If you ask me, are they going to be A&M? Are they going to beat Texas? I would almost ask you, well, did they beat Bama? Did they beat Ole Miss? Because that almost changes things,
So
right?
it does.
Coming off a big win. Yeah.
50-50 games, man.
There's
a lot of them.
There are. Give me the Notre Dame. So I got no problem with Kelly's prediction there. It might even be a little bit optimistic, to be honest with you. What does he go for? He said Notre Dame's going to win them all.
Yeah, this was a week ago. He went through the schedule, went through this tough place to play. Oh, Stanford, always kind of tough, yada, yada, yada. But it was basically easy schedule. They've got BYU in there. They've got, a couple losable games, but he had Notre Dame going 12-0. So,
I mean, you got some easy schedules out there. Notre Dame, Texas Tech, Penn State. I mean,
yeah, Miami.
Georgia's is a very favorable schedule.
Miami could get them. Miami will be a 3-point underdog.
It's a revenge game and all that, but man, to just have one game that you circled, that's just. I mean, that's why you play Texas right after you play Alabama, man. You're not going to have a full tank.
The most circled games of the year throughout college football. I think that's got to be one of them. Notre Dame, Miami. You've got LSU, Ole Miss. That's an obvious one. Third one's probably Texas, Ohio State. Those are the clear 3, just most anticipated games of the year.
Yeah, looking at five games would be less than 5 games of field goal or less, and then you have the Auburn game. All the others are going to be over a touchdown.
So half.
Kentucky and Arkansas.
Notre Dame about a field goal favorite at home against Miami.
More.
Okay.
But that's out right now. It's got to be out.
I'll find it.
I thought I saw 3 or maybe 3.5.
Really?
Is it more than that? Maybe the numbers are running together on me a little bit. I've looked at so many of these preseason lines, but if I had to guess, I would say it's 3. Max,
6.5.
Oh wow, I'm this bad. Okay.
Yeah, they're at home, revenge game. They're expected to be better than Miami this year, and I mean, Lord knows you're not going to be emotionally spent with the games preceding that.
10-point favorite at BYU. That seems like a lot.
See, I don't know how good BYU is.
They're going to be good. Yeah, the freshman, I mean, is a lot to build on. He was pretty good as a true freshman. That was thrown in there kind of last minute also. Transfer from Stanford, right, with his brother?
Bear Bachmeyer?
Yeah, I'm almost positive. Because when they had to go fishing, when they lost the quarterback to Tulane. So
I'm just looking for other places that Notre Dame could trip up, and
there's no Charlie. It's
SMU
2 games.
maybe, but I mean it has to be
SMU's
the
at
right.
Home?
Yeah,
SMU could.
I mean, on the right day, you have a big effort, a couple of turnovers, special teams play.
I think Jennings is going to be great this year. If he's healthy,
he's a problem.
Weird question here. Just as a former coach, now in media, do you think there's let's say there's any ill will, which I'm not saying there is or isn't, but don't you kind of want the expectations to be high on your successor? Don't you want Lane Kiffin? Don't you? Oh, he should go 11-1, and then you kind of say, well, look, it wasn't that hard.
If you're being petty, and I just don't hear that tone.
I don't think so either. I don't think that's.
I just
but
there'll be some. I mean,
I don't think he's doing that at all. But
there's a difference that I've noticed in coaches in media that expect to go back and coach again, and those that don't. Those that expect to go back and coach again are usually very. I listened to Mike Tomlin on the Hall of Fame game the other night. Okay, and as you would expect, very respectful of everything that was going on, because I'm fairly certain Tomlin's going to coach again.
He said so
in NFL. Yeah. So this is a 1-year stopping point for him, just to keep himself busy, and he'll be back on an NFL sideline next year. You get coaches that don't expect to go back, like Rex Ryan, and even though he wanted to go back, and sometimes just bombs away.
Well, Rex Ryan's a bombs away guy no matter what. I mean, he's just different.
That is an extreme example.
Maybe
I'll
this
give you
is
that.
another example, but Dan Mullen has come back to UNLV, and he's been pretty critical of Florida over the years, kind of taking some jabs at, well, what have y'all done since I left?
He did.
What? He flat out said that?
Yeah.
He said that this week, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
What have y'all done since I left?
Oh, he put the numbers up, and really he only had one, what you would call terrible year. It was the last year.
But he was in media for, 2 years, I want to say?
Yeah.
How long was he at Florida? 5 years?
5 or 6.
Dan Mullen can coach, man.
He can't.
And look, we were out there last year with right before UNLV.
4 seasons
and
at Florida.
I was
4?
18 to 21.
I was.
Okay, I thought it was 5.
It was quick, man. It is.
Yeah.
And
actually in media for, I guess that's 3 years.
There were some people that were a little concerned maybe with the move to Las Vegas. That was a little bit distracted, and man, he got as much out of that damn team as he could.
He did.
I mean,
and you remember why?
Who's he got quarterback in this year?
Alex Orji, who was one of the 2 that they had last year. If you remember, they had
where did he come from?
Orji was from Michigan.
Okay.
He was part of a 2 quarterback system. They were one of the week 0 teams last year.
Yep.
It was Orji and Calandria, who came from Virginia. He's now at Nebraska. He's transferred to Nebraska.
And you remember what they said about Mullen when
Calandria came from BC, right? Before he went to UNLV, right?
I thought he was from he was from Virginia, if I remember correctly. Maybe it was BC, but you're thinking of the guy who went to Florida State.
Yeah. What's that, Charlie?
When McElwain got the Florida job, and Mullen was at pretty much the peak of his powers at Mississippi State at the time, and he didn't even get an interview for the Florida job. And they were like, why not? You know what? This SEC coach, he got him number 1 in the country, for crying out loud. He's like, well, not everybody over there likes him, and he don't like everybody over there.
You're talking about Starkville?
No, I'm talking about in Gainesville, from his previous stint when he was there with the coordinator.
That's
and
right.
then
Steve was Tebow's coordinator.
When he got the job, they had changed ADs. So he hasn't always been his reputation he hasn't always been the easiest guy to work with.
UNLV is tied for 3rd choice among the non-Power 4 schools to make the playoff. Only Boise State and Navy have better
Speaking of
odds.
Virginia, I mean, that's a good one on week 0. Virginia, NC State. I think originally planned they were supposed to play out of the country, but they're playing in Charlottesville. I'm pretty sure it's at Virginia. But, man, that's Pribula has got starting experience. And
C.J. Bailey?
No, the kid from Zachary, Holstein. They got a quarterback battle. That's a quarterback competition. Pribula and
that's at Virginia Tech, right?
That's Virginia.
No, it's Virginia.
Really?
Yeah.
Virginia.
I would have thought Franklin might have
the most
taken him.
experienced offensive line in the country coming back. And then you got Bailey
on the other side. Yeah,
we know the previous staff had a lot of interest in, and he's got, Dorn's been there for a long time as well. So it's that's good. That's a really good
2:30
nice
on week
game.
0. Nice.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Oh, Virginia Tech's got Grunkemeyer. That's their Penn State backup they brought in, if I remember correctly.
But he's got the Franklin. Who's
James Franklin's at Virginia Tech.
I know.
Who's
Who's the starting quarterback?
It's Grunkemeyer.
It is?
Yeah,
Okay.
he brought from Penn State. I think that's kind of his plan.
We're going to have
there.
to do 3 days worth of where do they play now before we start the season.
Well, college is going to be hard. But
Very hard.
Yeah, backup NFL.
Oh, yeah, I remember that guy went there.
But I mean, to bring both a Virginia status program, to bring those two guys in. I mean, usually they don't want to. Quarterback's going to transfer. He don't want to compete for a job.
No, usually you go somewhere where they.
Do you remember Bryce Baker as well? He's the backup prospect. He was in the mix for LSU and went to North Carolina.
Today we're over here at
Vaguely.
Walk-Ons in Bruley. Tomorrow we'll be at Mike Anderson's. Wednesday at Modesto on Burbank. Thursday at Bally Sports, the DraftKings Sportsbook at Bally's Casino. And Friday over at Ruffino's. Come on by and see us. It's our remote schedule for this week for Live at Lunch.
And we here at Walk-Ons in Bruley want to remind you about the fantasy football packages, the bundles that they have here with the bonus cards, 50 wings, chips and queso, 2 pitchers of beer here at Walk-Ons in Bruley. Get your fantasy football drafts now. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Bruley on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Star-studded press conference today with the LSU players. Not only did Sam Levitt talk for the first time, so did Todd Benefield, the transfer safety from Boise State, and Braylon Moore, LSU's starting center, all with time at the podium. So that's all been going on here in the last 20 minutes or so. I'm sure Hunt will have some of that. And on Matt's show this afternoon, best wishes out to Moscona for speedy recovery. Had an appendix problem on Friday, but had a chance to chat with him a minute this morning. Going to be making his way back, we hope, pretty soon. So get well soon, Matt, if you're listening. And a lot of players to listen to today out at LSU. We're here at Walk-Ons in Bruley. Again, the fantasy football packages include the bonus card, the bundles with the wings, the chips and quesos, and the Bud Light, all here at Walk-Ons in Bruley. 4 dozen beers, over 4 dozen beers on tap, including your seasonal brews that you rotate in and out. So that is what's going on here. We got Monday Night Baseball. Jimmy, over the weekend.
How about the A's going to take 2 or 3 in Boston? San Diego sweeps the Astros when they were playing their best ball during the summer. Boy, Seattle is a major disappointment, getting swept at home by Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay 6-0 on this road trip as they're extending their lead in the American League East, to 5.5 in 7 games. So, good to see Bobby Witt back, but the Royals lost 2 out of 3, but and the White Sox did they get? Oh no, they came back. Did you see that move? They played that extra inning game in Boston, that 12-11 game. They short on bullpen. The guy mistakenly in the first inning makes a second trip to the mound. The manager.
Oops.
Yeah, so that's the one game they lost in that critical American League Central. Guardians now in fourth place in the division.
Tommy White, his first RBI in the big leagues yesterday against Boston. Have a great day, everybody. Stay tuned for Hunt, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.